Bank of Ghana has decried gaps in media reports, which it says affected confidence in the financial sector. Second Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Elsie Awaji, who opened the first Bloomberg financial journalism training in Accra, said confidence was key to building a resilient and robust financial sector in Ghana. There is more in the following report. At the launch of the first Bloomberg financial journalism training in Accra, the second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Elsie Awaji, emphasized the need for financial journalists to enhance their skills and build their capacity in order to report accurately. She said the lack of training has been influencing the kind of reportage that has gone on in the last 18 months during the cleanup of the banking sector.
Media practitioners are called upon to employ high professional standards to determine what, when, and how to publish, especially in the realm of economic and financial matters. This is necessary to promote and not undermine confidence in the financial system and the economy as a whole. Unfortunately, we have sometimes witnessed the opposite, at least in Ghana, especially during the last 18 months when we have undertaken extensive reforms with a view to making the financial sector more resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, in recognition of the critical need for increased professionalism in financial journalism, the Bank of Ghana continues to work closely with the media to help disseminate accurate and timely reports while supporting a lot of capacity building efforts both domestically and internationally. It is in this vein that we wholeheartedly support the Bloomberg Africa Media Initiative and its African journalism, financial journalism training program.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Information, Kojo Nkrumah, who opened the program, disclosed some interventions by government in the area of capacity building for journalists and bloggers.
It is thus crucial that the African Business Press Corps continuously builds its capacities to enable it comprehensively and exhaustively shape the African economic narrative to the satisfaction of all stakeholders here and the world over. It is my understanding that this 6-month certificate program, funded by Bloomberg Philanthropies, with additional support from the Ford Foundation, will offer the Ghanaian and African journalists here and mid-career professionals in business, government, and civil society the opportunity to strengthen their skills in capital markets and data analysis and enhance their knowledge in public policy and financial and economic reporting. We are excited about this initiative, and we believe that the platform will enhance the capacity of beneficial delegates in analyzing government fiscal and economic policies and in turn educating the Ghanaian and African populace and the global populace with accurate reporting that will benefit our nation. With the right information, the citizenry and other stakeholders will be better prepared for active citizenship.
50 journalists from across the continent are participating in the 6-month intensive training, which is aimed at advancing business and finance reporting. All right, so the second Deputy Governor of the Central Bank making some interesting comments there about media reportage during the past 18 months, which he says has affected confidence in the banking sector. Joining me in studio for some more discussion on this is Joy Business Assistant Editor Norman Akwa-Hayford. What do you make of suggestions that the media is partly to blame for the loss of confidence in the banking sector?
I have my own reservations as far as this particular statement from Madam Elsie Awaji is concerned, because, I mean, here at Joy Business, we've been very much on top of the issues and we have reported what we know. In fact, people would reference us and be sure of what they even hear within the media. I would agree, like we say in our local parlance, if you be a mesa womb, of course, you have people who probably don't understand the real issues and will report
But
otherwise.
generally, do you get the sense that most financial journalists or finance journalists did not have an idea what they were reporting at the time?
I don't think that's what I get, because if you're looking at, I mean, apart from Joy Business, talk about the newspapers, Business and Financial Times, the Economic Times, and all these papers, these are people who have been reporting over the years in the sector and clearly understood what they were putting out there. I think that if there was somebody to blame or anyone that we should be blaming, the Bank of Ghana itself should also blame
and that
itself.
will lead us to the challenges when it came to reporting the crisis in the banking sector. We didn't anticipate it, then it started happening. And so you get people saying that the media wasn't equipped, sort of, to be able to, deliver the information in that sense. Do you agree? Were there challenges with information flow?
Oh yes, there were. There were a lot of challenges because the central bank itself many times would hold back, even if sometimes when they give you a date. I mean, look at, when we needed to meet a recapitalization, 31st, they waited, days after, fueled a lot of speculation within the system. Now people were trying to look for information here and there, everywhere that they could lay their hands on. That was what was happening. And I think that the central bank also itself must understand that if you are talking to the Ghanaian public, you cannot use technical words that the ordinary man may not understand. They must speak in plain English. That is one of the feedback that they must also have.
But there were certain suggestions as well that the media fueled panic withdrawals. Come on air and, for instance, say this bank is likely to go out of business. This other bank is not in good shape. We may have fueled some panic withdrawals.
What do you expect me to do, Darrell? If I have to put information out there, of course, people need the information, and so that is what I'll end up doing. And just as I said, if the central bank itself will be fought with or would make sure that they will be bringing the information flow would be forthcoming.
Just a quick one, and if you could do that in 30 seconds, is this the central bank trying to shift blame?
I would say yes. I would say yes.
Okay.
And this is, I've said, they need to learn to give information as quick as possible and speak in plain language. Because, of course, you have people who may not understand some of the technical words that you would use and would want to understand what it means. You don't wait until you report and then you come and you now want to explain what these things are.
Joy Business Assistant Editor Norman Akwahiwa, thank you very much indeed. So let's get a fair idea what people are saying in the aftermath of the banking sector cleanup. We have been asking on Facebook, our Joy Business page, if your confidence in the sector has increased following the banking sector cleanup. Poll is still ongoing, but we can get an idea what the response has been so far. My colleague Sandra Esnau Afenu has been monitoring your responses on Facebook, Sandy. So what are people saying? What's the question?
So like you rightly said, the question is asking, the BOG says the banking sector cleanup has been completed. With all that has happened in the banking sector, do you now have confidence in the banking sector? And as you can see on your screen, voting is ongoing. You can go to the Joy Business page and actually be part of this. And you can see that it's yes or no. And from that, we have 53% currently voting yes, and then 47% is saying no at the moment. So you can also go on our Facebook page, Joy Business page,
and we can add that there are 440 votes so far.
Right.
53% saying yes and 47 saying no. So what are people saying, Sandy?
Yeah, so let's go to David Dutton. He said, to me, it's apparent or seeming because apart from the commercial or the universal banks, other lower status financial institutions are struggling, which equally need urgent attention for a cleanup. And these lower institutions even are messing up more than the formal sector, he wants to say. And let's go to Don Lyrics, and he said, upon all what has happened, I don't have no vote in the financial sector because my equity is still not released at first allied, and secondly, I want the government and the central bank to intervene because it stated in the 2019 budget that the government would show much interest in social intervention.
Let's skip Atanga and go on to the next comment.
Cecilia is saying, what happened to all the savings and loans companies who cannot honor withdrawals? That's a question she's asking. And then this one is from Charles Nana Edu, and he said Data Bank and Prudential Bank didn't meet the requirements.
That's your claim.
Yeah, that's what he is saying. And then quickly to Edward Kwesi Opon, he said, yes, I do now. I can choose the bank to save with. I'm sure that's what he wants to say. So quickly, last one, and please, what's the situation with Prudential Bank?
Well, now that the central bank is saying we are fueling
panic withdrawals in the system, it's something
and all of that. But interesting perspective from the poll is running till tomorrow, so you can take a part of it tomorrow. We'll disclose the final answer. Just before Sandy goes, she's going to tell us about something nice that is happening. We'll continue our conversation on the banking sector. Joining me in studio right now is the CEO of the Institute of Customer Service Professionals, Yvonne Ohui-McCarthy. We'll continue from a customer-centered perspective, but Sandy is going to be coming later with an expanded prime. What is new, Sandy? Right,
so you wanted more, so we are giving you more actually. So starting from today, Prime Business will be going for 20 minutes. And so we have new addition, we have analysis, we'll be going to the stock market, the currency market as well. And we want to hear from you on social media as well. So your views, you can visit any of our social media platform, Joy Business GH, and we've posted a lot of questions there. We'd love to hear from you. Read them on the Prime Business, starting from today for 20 minutes, Darryl.
All right, thank you very much, Sandra Afenu. So back to our discussion on confidence in the banking sector. We've heard from the central bank talk about the media, and we are going to talk next to you about how the customer service can be improved following all of what has happened. Joining me in studio is the CEO of the Institute of Customer Service Professionals, Yvonne Ohui-McCarthy. Let's begin with the survey you conducted recently on customer service. We saw the banking sector perform poorly. What were your findings?
Well, I think even before the survey, we had had a lot of complaints about customer service in Ghana. And for a market or a sector that is completely reliant on the service that they provide, we're expecting them to at least be on top, because we have some very good brands heading the financial sector, but it wasn't. They came up 5th out of 8, which isn't something, you know, to write home about. It's clear from what we saw, they had a lot of detractors. So we had quite a number of people who spoke badly about the financial sector, quite a number of people who had lost faith, they've lost confidence, just didn't have anything good to say about the financial sector. And I think the current situation doesn't make it any better. It's about time we now sit up, looking at what has happened currently.
Well, in the midst of the crisis, I should think that banks have quite some task. You know, where do they start from?
You know, I always say that customer service is difficult, but it's not difficult. You know, it's in quotes, commonsensical. It's just the basic things you need to start with. Because in order to touch somebody or in order to deliver excellent customer service, it's not the technology, it's not the beautification of your edifice, it's your empathy, it's understanding how to be receptive, how to speak to people, how to touch the soft spots. So there's nothing like where do we start from. We just have to start doing the right things, which unfortunately we haven't done. What we have seen in the past, or even currently, is big banks coming up and putting up some very beautiful buildings, branding and rebranding and changing names, but then they're not taking care of the actual people that deliver the service, which is the employees. So you find that, first of all, people might be employed, they won't undergo any type of training. People are not being accountable on it. They're not being held accountable for the types of behaviors that they exhibit whilst they're at work. So we need to go back to the basics.
Okay, so do you think the recent happenings would cause our banks to sit up? I mean, because some have lost customers and some gained customers. What do you think is going to happen in the days to come?
Okay, I think a lot of people are thinking that because of what has happened, the banks will sit up. That's not true. The banks will not sit up if there isn't a proper strategy or a proper roadmap to get them where they ought to be. If you look at the Bank of Ghana, for example, the Bank of Ghana has the Consumer Recourse Mechanism Directive, which was outlawed in 2017, I think it was in February. And that directive is actually, if you read, it's a beautiful directive. It's there for the customer. However, 2 years down the line, because we're now in 2017, the question is, do you know about it as somebody in the media? You probably don't know everything about it. Do we know about it as customers? No, we don't. So we can't hold any bank accountable for anything.
All right. So is this just the situation with struggling banks? Because maybe some would say the big banks were not scratched, so they don't have to be concerned about customer service going forward?
Everybody needs to be concerned. I mean, as they say, when you see that your neighbor's beard is on fire, you also get, a bucket of water. The banking sector has poor customer service, period. It doesn't matter if it's one of the ones from outside where we think the customer service is already good. There are problems everywhere. So the sector itself needs to sit up. And I think their fathers, which is the BOG and the SEX, need to sit up and make sure that they are doing the right thing.
Thank you very much indeed for your time. Yvonne Ohui McCarthy is CEO of the Institute of Customer Service Professionals. I'm sure we'll have this conversation another time.
Sure.
Thanks very much. Let's move on to some other stories we are covering for you tonight. The CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, says foreign direct investments have been pegged at $10 billion for 2019. This was set after the GIPC failed to meet the same target last year. Yofi Grant believes the coming on board of multinational companies plus improved performance on the World Bank Doing Business report gives the GIPC a positive outlook for 2019. There's more in this report.
GIPC missed out on its 2018 target of registering foreign direct investments to the tune of $10 billion. CEO of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, explained failure to meet its target was because the GIPC focused on specific investment avenues in the oil and gas sector, which will yield benefit in 2019. He tells Joy Business his outfit is committed to pegging this year's target at $10 billion.
We maintain our target at 10 billion and work hard to achieve it.
But were you able to meet this target in 2018?
No, we were not. The strategy in 2018 was slightly different because we targeted specific opportunities in the railways, in the bauxite industry, in the iron ore industry, some oil and gas, and although those investments will come, it's taking quite a while for them to go through the gestation into the point where they're actually making investments. And so, we are still at it. The automobile industry, the agri sector, construction and infrastructure.
One of the major factors investors are looking out for is the cost of doing business in Ghana, which according to the 2018 AGI Business Barometer shot up slightly in the third and fourth quarters of 2018. According to Yofi Grant, the GIPC is working closely with government to ensure most challenges impeding foreign direct investment are fully addressed.
Ghana is still hot on the market. It's just a few things we need to tweak here and there.
And what are they?
And I'm sure that we'll see maybe the ease of doing business, some of the structural difficulties of doing business, and making sure that the business environment is easy for every business person, both indigenous and foreign, and that you have smoothness, you have predictability in the economy. And I dare say that a lot of the hard foundational work has been done in 2017 and 2018.
GIPC coordinates and monitors all investment activities and assists domestic and foreign investors in the country.
Now, government says it is considering an application from local automobile firm Contango for some tax waivers on its operations. This follows reports that the company has already been granted a 10-year tax holiday and also duty-free when they import materials for assembling. But Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah says the request is yet to be granted.
Understanding is that Contango Automobile has applied for tax waivers, a significant set of tax waivers, which will make it easier and less expensive for them to put their vehicles on the road. That application is being worked on at the Ministry of Finance. Once it is completed, it will be ferried to Parliament, where tax waivers legally are granted for Parliament to do its due job of granting those tax waivers. But it is an application that my understanding is that the Finance Minister and government are very, very open to, and we look forward to going through the processes.
Will this affect other local or manufacturers that have come into the car manufacturing space?
Again, until a broad policy is put in place for that purpose, it is this specific one that is being considered at this point in time. But you know that generally we are minded to provide tax reliefs to industries that we believe can generate a lot of jobs and productivity for our people, and we're doing that across other industries, textiles and a few other areas. So I think the broader policy intention is to make it easier for people to do business, and we will look in that direction.
All right, and that wraps up Business Live for tonight. My name is Darryl Powell. Don't miss the expanded version of the business segment on JoyNews Prime in about 2 hours. Meantime, there's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow.